So, whoopee, the final 3 episodes of Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary were released today, and they delivered more blows to the monarchy. Harry detailed the breakdown of his relationship with his brother, saying it was terrifying to hear William scream and shout during a crisis meeting with senior royals. And what was dubbed the Sandringham Summit, where the discussion centred around Megxit, Harry didn't hold back in criticising his family's response to his request to step back from royal duties.
I went in with the same proposal that we'd already, made publicly. But once I got there, I was given 5 options. 1 being all in, no change, 5 being all out. I chose option 3 in the meeting, half in, half out. Have our own jobs, but also work in support of the Queen. But it became very clear very quickly that that goal was not up for discussion or debate. It was terrifying to have my brother scream and shout at me and my father say things that just simply weren't true, and my grandmother, quietly sit there and sort of take it all in.
And there was more. Harry talked about a wedge between him and his brother and suggested William had been a bully.
A story that came out saying that part of the reason why Meghan and I were leaving was because William had bullied us out. And once I got in the car after the meeting, I was told about a joint statement that had been put out in my name and my brother's name, squashing the story about him bullying us out of the family. No one had asked me permission to put my name to a statement like that. And I rang Em and I told her, and she burst into floods of tears, because within 4 hours they were happy to lie to protect my brother. And yet, for 3 years, they were never willing to tell the truth to protect us. The saddest part of it was this wedge created between myself and my brother so that he's now on the institution side. And I get, part of that I understand, right? That's his inheritance. So to some extent, it's already ingrained in him that part of his responsibility is the survivability and the continuation of this institution.
Both Buckingham and Kensington Palaces said there'd be no comment about the series. But just hours ago, the royal family presented a united front as Kate hosted a Christmas carol service in tribute to the Queen. What is interesting about this, and I think we all said it last week when the first batch, the first trio of these documentaries came out, the assumption is with that kind of television that, obviously you get all the good stuff at the beginning and then it kind of gradually tapers off, and then the rest is just the sort of dregs and there's nothing much there. But this is genuine stuff, Nicola, isn't it? I mean, this really is defining stuff. This is explosive, to use that phrase. This is a game changer.
It is a game changer. I don't think that it was much of a surprise for anybody who has followed Harry and Meghan's story over the past few years. I think it was entirely predictable that this would be the way that things were going to end up. And whatever you think about Harry and Meghan, I completely accept and understand that people have got biases either towards or against them. That appears to be entirely credible to me, that the royal family would want to quash a story about the future heir. And in order to do that, they would fake a statement saying that the brothers are united, when in fact they weren't.
Did that surprise you,
I've always wanted to say this. I utterly agree with Nicola.
Harry, by definition.
This version of events, it seems to me very, very plausible. It's exactly what the palace always do. Yeah. They are always rushed to pour oil on troubled waters. And so they clearly have not consulted Harry about this. And by implication, that means that I believe his story is true, which is extraordinary. So in other words, the accusation that William did bully Harry and Meghan out of the royal family actually does hold water.
I don't know. I think, look, he said that they went in with a proposal after they'd made that statement on their Instagram saying they were going to be half in, half out. How can you go to your family after already publicly announcing that you're going to be half in and half out, to ask them permission to be half in, half out. I feel like the version of events that he's just painting, it doesn't seem credible to me, because it's like, okay, you're going in, you've already made up your mind that you're going to be part royals and supporting the Queen. You've already made up this magical role for yourself where you're half in, half out. And then somehow William was the evil guy or the bad guy that bullied you out of it. How exactly does that work?
They'd already spoken about it. They said in the documentary that
but
it had...
they released it on their Instagram, on their social
Yes,
media,
but they had
without
already,
agreeing on it.
No, they had already discussed it.
They'd already said.
But they hadn't agreed on it, because if they had agreed on it, they wouldn't have given them 5 options.
But that's what the summit was
chosen
for.
3.
That's what the summit was for.
But he said after he put it on the Instagram.
No, try to reach some agreement. They put it out there. How about we go to America, we hold down jobs, and we also
But they
work
said
to
that
help
on
the
their
Queen.
Instagram.
So they'd already said that. And of course, yes, they had. And then they were called to Sandringham because
to see
the
if the
royals
agreed
needed
or-
to have a summit about it. And they repeated this request, and of course it was turned down royally.
Do you see where the problem is? How can you possibly ask someone something about something you've already made public? So to the public's
also-
knowledge,
Well,
that's what's going to
Also, can I just the other thing that I kept on looking at that and saying, he says we went in and we were given 5 options. One, staying in.
make sense, does it?
You see, one staying in, one going out, and
one
then
half in, half out.
And then one half in, half out. And then he said, we went with option 3 and we weren't allowed it.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Either you weren't given all these options or you were. And
What
if
was
you
2
went
and
in...
4?
Yeah,
exactly.
He said we were given 5 options.
5
One
options.
was all in.
And one was all
4
out.
were all out.
Okay, but can
and
I
then
ask,
he said
if they
one of
chose-
them was half in, half out. So I think, to be fair, we'll just allow Harry
But
a
can
bit
I
of
ask,
slack here.
if they
He's not
chose-
being precise.
But
with
if
his
they
recollection.
chose all in, for instance, would that post that they made on Instagram be null and void? This is why I don't believe that story, because if they chose some reason, if they had a change of heart and said, okay, we're all in, that post that they put on Instagram, putting out to their friends and family,
They
saying,
would.
we're going
but
to
They
be
were never
working
going to be
towards-
all in. They wanted...
you're
No,
getting-
but,
They
no,
wanted
but do you,
half
do you,
in,
it's a
half out.
hypothetical. It's a hypothetical. Assuming that they had a change of
Yeah.
heart and said, we're going to be all in, what they posted on social media to the general public would have become null and void, and they would have to go back and
you
say,
know what?
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
we've changed our mind.
Sorry, I was just quickly
on.
wanted to say one more thing, which was that perhaps the reason why Prince William was shouting is that sometimes when you're trying to discuss something with somebody who's saying, no, we want to do this, and they're saying, well, you can't, and then they're going, no, but we want to do this, and they're saying, no, people do get frustrated, and sometimes
That's true,
they
but
shout,
just-
particularly in a family.
But Penny,
That's all
on
I was
that
gonna
point,
say.
just very quickly, Gab, he said he was terrified, OK? He might have been uncomfortable.
Poor
Not
Jim.
that
This bloke's
terrifying.
been shot at in Afghanistan.
my brother's shouting
That's
at me.
terrifying.
I know.
Prince
I know.
William having a shouting match might have been uncomfortable, it might have been unprecedented, but terrified.
I disagree. If it comes from a
Come
family
on.
member, it hits differently.
No.
Your dad or your
Happens
brother...
every day, Nicola, in this
Terrified.
country. People have a
My
shout
brother
up.
is totally expected every single time we meet.